especially once you get good at it, you know your spots and you kind of roll through them. Shall we go into some stretches?
Yeah, so once you've gotten the muscle tissue to be nice and loose so that you're able to stretch through the full range of motion, you can do two types of stretches, static stretches or dynamic stretches. We really like dynamic stretches because it takes the body through its normal range of motion. Instead of just finding the end range of the muscle, it takes it through more of a normal functional range of motion. So as we're going through all these things, just know that there's two different ways to do it. Both are okay, but you know, if you can find a functional way to stretch that muscle, that might be a little bit better way to do it.
Right.
So we'll start with the calf.
Yeah.
Right. So with the calf stretch, you have a couple ways to do this. We could go over to a stair.
Okay, you jump on that, I'm going to get a dumbbell.
And if you have an incline, you can just go here, keeping the leg straight. That stretches the outer calf called the gastroc. You can then bend your knee a little bit. That stretches the calf that's deeper to the bone called your soleus. So I'm doing my right leg right now. So I'll do the left leg, straighter leg. That stretches the gastroc. Then we can bend that knee just a little bit. Get that soleus. Notice how I'm not letting my knee fall inwards. We're keeping the knee kind of out over the small toes.
And what's good about that is you can pretty much do that almost anywhere at home.
Yeah,
but if
you
need,
as well.
Yeah, but if you need, always got a dumbbell as an option. Same exact principles that Paul just laid out there. Just an easy option just in case you don't have an elevated platform to use from. Hammy?
Yeah, so with the hamstrings cross your knee, they also cross your hip, so we can get at it two different ways. You can do the regular, put the foot up on there, keep the hips straight, leaning down, making sure we're not curving at the back. You don't want to go here, you want to push your hips straight back, lean onto it like that. That'd be the static way of stretching.
Give them though our option, you can always throw the foot in a little bit of motion to get that hammy opened up that way.
Yeah, so if you need to move the foot a little bit just to get the hip in a different range, you can go outwards, you can go inwards.
Show my favorite.
Also, with that sciatic nerve, you don't want to fully be turned going like that, because that'll tension the sciatic nerve a little bit too much. You want to just be facing square at it, like that.
Awesome. One of our favorites though is to definitely put it in motion. So it could be a simple step back, reaching with that cross there, so we're actually using the hamstring the way it's designed to be motion. Nice little step back, so you can even do it right in place, right through there, so a little bit more dynamic. You're going to hit the other leg. It's always opposite arm to the opposite leg. Give yourself about 10, 15 of those, or you can take a nice leg down across the room and back, and we'll hit that.
So that's all the standing ones. We can go on to a mat. We can work on the quads and the glutes. Let's first start with the glutes. You can lay all the way down, cross the leg, reach through, pull it like that. I'm stretching my left glute right now. You can do that way. You can also pull it across, keeping the hips on the ground, pulling across. That's a good one. We can do the pigeon stretch as well. Right here, keeping your hip on the ground, reaching forward, making sure that back stays nice and straight. I'm not curving my back a lot, keeping the back straight.
Just make sure you lift up so you can see how the leg's positioned.
These two are a little bit more advanced. If you're really in current low back pain, we can be seated, up nice and tall, cross the leg, and just pull it across the body like that.
Good, let's go into hip flexor.
So with the hip flexor, again, we have two hip flexors. One is part of the quad, the other one comes from the low back. Go into a lunge stance, tilt your hips back or posteriorly rotate your hips, and then glide forward into it. Notice how when I rotated my hips, I didn't go like this with my lumbar spine. I just subtly tilt the hips back, pushing down in the back, lifting up at the front, and then gliding into it. If that's good and you don't have any current low back pain, you can slightly tip away from the leg you're stretching. And then come back out of it, switch sides, hip tilt, glide into it. If you need to, slightly tip away.
All right, go quad.
The quads. I like this one. You see a lot of people doing the hurdler stretch here. This stresses the inner part of the knee. Want to keep the heel in line with the glutes. You can go here, grab, pull back. If you need a pillow for the head, you can use it. Notice how we're not arching the back a lot like this, keeping the abs tight, just trying to pull the leg back, pulling your heel to your glutes, trying to get some hip extension as well.
Good, and let's show them our chest stretch.
Okay. So the chest stretch, when we're doing this, you can find any wall or doorway. Let's call this a doorway. The thing you want to do is stretch the pec muscle that goes from your sternum all the way out to your arm. You see a lot of people doing this, rolling their shoulder forward. All that does is it stretches out the front part of the shoulder capsule. That's not something we want. What we want to do is take that shoulder back, stabilize the ribs, lean away from that arm you're stretching, and if you need to, still turn away just a little bit by turning your body. But I find that as you pull that shoulder blade back, pulling the pec through here, you really don't need to do a lot of turning, which you would see in the gym, people going like this a lot. We're just right here, stabilizing the ribs, leaning away, turning away.
Nice. Okay.